That's alright. SDK may be playing up, but worry about it later. A few new names on the list. Which one? Chris Dyson. Yeah. Oh, he's the son of Christian. Son of Christ. Son of Christy. Oh. Well, I think we've just about got everything set up for bets anyway. There is a list that Bruce has done, so if you go into that channel, I'll go through it with you at the end. Yeah, there's a list there. Just moved, I think two people have moved because there was one hiding without doing any quality that's been a split 2 driver for a while, sitting at the bottom of split 3. Does that work? Waiting. Well, at least we're going to have 26, 27 drivers, 28, 29 drivers. Good. Yeah. Of course, we've got a 15-minute race and then, 15-lap race and a 25-lap race with one compulsory pit stop in the second race. Yep, it's Mr. Reg. Oh.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Supercheap Auto East Coast V8 series. This is round 9 coming to you from the one and only Phillip Island Raceway in beautiful Victoria. I'm John Van Ree. With me tonight, I've got Mark Duggan. How are you, Mark?
Yeah, good, John. Winding down the year like everybody else. So, yeah, looking forward to tonight. Always produces good racing around here and reasonable sized field, so it should be fun.
Right, definitely looking forward to seeing what these boys can do tonight. They've still got a big field. We've got 30 drivers in the house, so looking forward to seeing what these boys can do as we start to get going. Just going to say big shout out to Steve Murray, Dylan O'Shea in the chat, already watching. Now, I'll have a quick look at this circuit. Quite well known to a lot of people already. Been here many times before, where we start on the one and only Gardner Straight, down through the fast 200 kilometre an hour right hand doing corner into the famous Southern Loop. Got to be careful not to drop it off into the sand there. And then we come down in through the sweeping turn 3, Stoner Corner, into Honda, which has now been renamed as Miller, of course. And then we head down to the one and only Siberia. And then once we sweep through Siberia, we go up past the hay sheds, up to Lukey Heights, where we drop down into turn 10 MG. And then we sweep back around through 11 and 12 and down the Gardner Straight to complete the lap. Looking at about 128 seconds to 129 seconds for a good lap around this place. Some guys might go a bit quicker than that. But it is a sensational track for these guys, and they are now just rolling out for qualifying. So while they do that, Mark, I'll just quickly show up the points. As we jump on the screen there, we can see James Scott leading the series on 12.53. Brenton Hobson just hanging on 11.94 from Anthony Visma, who is also very tightly being contested by Craig Schultz for that podium. Now we step back a little bit to Damien Johnston, Zach McDonald, Adam Briggs, Brady Baldwin, Dave Kirby, Sean McNamara, Dylan Rudd. I feel these boys have missed a few races over the time, and that does show a little bit in those results. Let's have a look at the Super 2 boys. As I just click over the screen there, we can see Dylan Gray is 20 points ahead of Robbie Bradbury. 2 races to go, or 2 rounds to go. Expected to be a big fight between them two this week. Will Munro, he's hanging on to that podium position with 10.16 from Infinity Racing. Timmy Mulford from Phoenix Racing is in 4th. Troy Stone Street, he's been the revelation in the Super 2s at the back half of the season. He's already got himself up into 5th. Blanchard, Van Ree, Barella, McKnight, Vella, that rounds out our Super 2 championship. So, of course, these boys now out rolling, looking to find themselves a hole where they can get themselves into. As we jump on board with James Scott, he's coming around the last turn now to start his fast lap. Power down early. Big shout out to Dave Baldock in the chat as well, and Steve Banks. See, down in the doing, sharp sweeping corner into the Southern Loop. Very difficult. Canberra wants to throw the car off into the sand trap. It sends you to Tasmania. And we get the power down out of there and then through the fast flowing Stoner corner and then down in the Miller where you got to jump on the brakes, pull it up. Second, first gear. get on that inside apex. Try not to get too much wheel spin coming out. See through Siberia now, James Scott balancing that throttle a little bit of traffic in front of him. I think he might be getting a bit worried about that as he continues on.
Picking up a nice tow off McNamara, J Ross in front there. J Ross in the Commodore tonight, which is he's raced the Mustang for the last few seasons.
Yeah, very interesting. All sorts of changes going on at Synergy Sim Racing. Has come back through the final corner to complete his first fast lap. Let's see where this puts James Scott on the board. And he goes a 128.442. Sean McNamara jumps into second, Ross into third. Dylan Rudd, the Ryco teammate of James Scott's, jumps into second as well. Cam Jones from 9.5 into third. So some cracking times already been rolled out here in this first part of qualifying. And try and sort that for you. I'll just turn that one down a smidge. And
yeah, some good times there in the opening stanza, John. We've got James Scott, Dylan Rudd, Cam Jones, Damien Johnson, Sean McNamara, Scotty Gamble. Great to see Scotty in here tonight, laying down some good times as well. Jordan Ross, Thomas Freeman, Troy Stonestreet, Jacob O'Reilly. Jacob's a newcomer with us tonight, so big welcome to Jacob. So that's your top 10 so far. We've still got 10 minutes to run, so the boys will all run back and get some fresh boots on and look to go again. So I'm sure James Scott picked up a nice tow off Jordan Ross and Sean McNamara, as we discussed earlier.
Definitely the way to go, get that tow around this place, particularly down that straightaway. It is a long straight, the Gardner Straight, high speeds. It is a good track for drafting. These guys, because being sprint races, tyre wear's probably not going to be so bad, but they also have to really look after them as well.
Great time there from Cam Jones to put himself into P3, just a tenth and a half off Dylan Rudd in P2, so there's not a lot in it, and Dylan's about a tenth off James Scott at the moment in P1, so pretty tightly bunched at the top there. Big welcome to Greg Sharp as well to the East Coast Series. So we've got a few new names tonight, so we'll run through them no doubt over the evening.
Yes, of course, first outing for Greg in WK&P colours, so great to have him on board. Jump on and have a quick look at Dylan Rudd. He's sitting down in 15th. Stone Street, the surprise out of the Super 2 boys. He's up in 9th at the moment. So keeping a bit of an eye on Dylan Gray. And, of course, Robbie Bradbury, he's sitting back in 17th. So he's not too far behind Gray. So going to be an epic battle to that one. Of course, a big shout out to Joshy Drage, who's watching out there as well. And, of course, we also have a couple of others, Davo out there as well. So a few a brake lock up there. I'm not sure who that was from. But everyone's on an outlap at the moment. I might jump on with Dylan Gray. See all these boys all in a fairly hectic train here. You can see how jockeying for that position is pretty important.
Yeah, you've got to jockey for your own position, but you also got to be careful you're not going to ruin somebody else's lap and end up with a penalty. So got to be very careful, got to keep an eye all around you on these outlaps.
Just keep an eye on it. Two Ryco cars together. Visma tucked up behind Dylan Rudd. So Visma looking to get himself set up for a good little run here as well. As these boys now head across the start-finish line. 7.5 minutes gone. So we're halfway through this qualifying session. Don't forget, 2 heats tonight. So it'll be dead stop at the 15-minute mark for qualifying. The first race, of course, is a flat-out 15-lap sprint, and the second race tonight is a 25-lap full reverse grid with one compulsory pit stop. So it will be tough for the boys trying to work their way through the pack. As we jump in with Dylan Rudd here, coming down into Miller. Nice, he gets it back to first gear, smooth around the corner. Nice, he gets the power down without too much wheel spin. Backs it off, uses the camber to drive it through Siberia. Now heads up the hill. The tyres screeching a bit there as we come up into Lukey Heights. Got to balance it here. Very hard, you lose sight as you go over the crest and then down hard into MG, pull it up. Early gear change there to control the wheel spin. And of course turn 9, another difficult corner to get trickly right. Sorry, turn 13, and then come through the final corner. Touch off the gas, back on the apex, full noise. There's 5th, 6th, speed going up. And Dylan Rudd has been jumped by Damien Johnstone. Synergy Sim Racing entrant. As a blinder.
Cracking lap there from Damien, John. He's always shown good speed, Damien, and he just needs a little bit of luck to go his way, I feel like, to get a real good result. So good to see Damien up there. I think last week he qualified quite well, but then had a shifter selection problem on the start line and ended up ruining his night, and a couple other people got caught up in it. So fingers crossed it starts off better tonight for Damien.
Craig Schultz there, he was off journey on the grass, so this lucky he'll be his in lap. So some interesting times, some interesting movement there. We've got James Scott still on pole with a 1:27.1, which is a cracking time. Damien Johnstone in second. In third, we roll into Dylan Rudd from Ryco. Sean McNamara from 95 Sim Sports in fourth. Cam Jones, his teammate, in fifth. Jordan Ross from Synergy Sim Racing in sixth. Scotty Gamble from WK&P in seventh. Thomas Freeman in eighth. Zach McDonald in ninth. Troy Stone Street rounds out our top 10. So that's a cracking effort from Troy. So it's still not long to go. These boys got to be quick here. They're only going to get one more shot at this if they're lucky.
Yeah, I think everybody should get one more hot lap in. So pressure's on to perform with the clock counting down. James Scott was able to improve his time there by about 1.8 tenths of a second. So James almost creeping into the 126s there. Wouldn't be surprised if he lowers his time again once he gets settled on his next hot lap.
Yeah, definitely can see what he does.
Pretty much the whole field, John, heading out for one final crack at this Phillip Island circuit for their qualifying lap. Like you said, once the clock ticks down, it will click straight over to the warm-up. So if you're on a hot lap, when the clock counts down and you're not completed, you won't get to finish. So I think everybody will be cramming in this last one as quickly as possible.
Yeah, definitely ticking down. As we see the boys here jockeying themselves for position. So I think keep an eye out. I reckon McNamara's got a little bit left in him. And I reckon Rudd would be wanting to get that P2. Start alongside his teammate. So that'll be a bit of a battle there. Keep an eye on Visma. Visma at 16th. Probably expect him to bounce up a little bit higher as well in this last flurry running on the track here. Jacob O'Reilly. He's new. We haven't seen Jacob in East Coast before, so he's one of our newer drivers. As he's in 11th. As we might just jump back on to Sean McNamara as he comes across the line. Start his hot lap. The old 9.5 Sim Sports El Supremo. Expecting a good run here from Sean. It's still clock ticking. I'll get this lap in, I think.
Dylan Rudd already, sorry John, Dylan Rudd already caught up in some traffic, which will be a little bit frustrating for him.
Yes, looks like he's caught up to Brady Baldwin. Of course, Peter Pavlik, Russell Glander and John O'Gallen still to set a time here as well. Who gets out of their way? Baldwin does. But I think the damage is already done. Sean McNamara having a little bit of an outing as well, so that's his lap done. And Dylan Rudd is into the pits. James Scott is going to set a time, but I don't think it'll be an improvement. And that's a 1:27.2. So 1/10 slower. Jordan Ross Boss. Interesting livery tonight. Not sure what the go is there at Synergy. Bit of a joke for the lads, I think.
Nobody really been able to improve on that last run there, John. So not sure if the track temperature has increased slightly or there was just too much traffic involved. But looks like we are going to go to the race with the standings as they are.
The track temperature was only 23, so it wasn't too bad. So we might just have a quick look at this grid as we start to warm up here. As we jump in, have a look. Scott is our pole sitter with a 1:27.143. Alongside him is Synergy Sim racer Damien Johnstone. Aryko is Dylan Rudd in third. Sean McNamara from 9.5 Sim Sports in fourth. Cam Jones from 9.5 Sim Sports is in fifth, alongside Synergy Sim racers Jordan Ross. WK&P Sim Sports Scott Gamble in seventh, alongside Thomas Freeman. Then on the fifth row, we've got Zach McDonald from 9.5 Sim Sport, alongside the first of our Super 2 drivers, Troy Stone Street in 10th. 11th, we have Jacob O'Reilly, and then alongside him is Phoenix Racing's Tim Mulford. As we go over the page, and we pick up WK&P's Chris Blanchard in 13th, alongside 9.5 Sim Sports Craig Schultz. Greg Sharp from WK&P in 15th, alongside Accelerate Sim Sport Sim Racing's Anthony Visma. Dylan Gray from SLM in 17th, alongside Connor Nixon from Vermeulen in 18th. Dave Kirby from Fishy Motorsports sneaking in there into 19th, alongside Pacific Esport Racing. Robbie Bradbury in 20th. 21st, Brady Baldwin. 22nd, we see the one and only Will Buchanan. And in 23rd, Sam Christensen, alongside John O'Gallen from Pacific Racing. And then over the page, we finish off with WK&P's Blake Gallen. Russell Gander set a time in there from Apex Esports League. And then we have Matty Shanahan at the rear of the grid. Reg James is our race steward, and Richard Barella is our safety car. So that rounds out our grid, Mark.
Yeah, interesting mid-pack there. A few drivers who I thought may have been a little bit quicker. Mired down around the 20th position, but be interesting to see how the likes of Connor Nixon and Dave Kirby go on race pace, because we know how well them boys race. So going to be interesting. 15 laps. It's not a lot of time to get it done.
No, not at this place. This place is very tough to overpay in places. You need to make the most of that slipstream down the straight and try and get the job done into doing. So keep an eye on the start as well. One of these tracks that is known for creating some chaos as well into doing in the Southern Loop. But we're definitely going to see how it all unfolds very shortly, as we're about 15 seconds away from the flag dropping.
Yeah, we may see a little bit of desperation from some drivers on this opening lap with a short sprint. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they conduct themselves. As you said, Southern Loop can be a little bit chaotic at times.
As we are about to go green anytime soon here, just waiting for the gridding to start. Engines are on, engines are up. Someone's jumped the start. That's like Rudd. 4, 5. We've got 5 lights are out and we're away. Great start from James Scott. Damien Johnstone looks like he's gotten away cleanly as well. As we're heading down now into Doon for the first time. Looks like we've got a fairly good start here. James Scott jumped away. Damien Johnstone, Sean McNamara, Cam Jones, Jordan Ross, Scott Gamble. Everyone's up 1 spot, so I'm not sure what's happened to Dylan Rudd. He's fallen back 12 already, so very hectic. Got a few guys off, which will come back in the background there. I think Blanchard was involved in that.
Scotty Gamble also was sideways there. Not sure if they got turned around, but Dylan Rudd made a huge mistake off the start line there, and he has got a black flag, so he's going to get a iRacing stop and hold by the look of it.
Yeah, it's a bit sad. Anyway, we're just going to stick with this, then I'll come back and try and pick up some of the action from this first lap. But it is James Scott leading Damien Johnstone. Sean McNamara tucked up behind. And there we go. Race control incidences everywhere. All happening for them. So, yeah, we'll definitely try and pick up some of that action. But it looks like we're going to have the lap led by James Scott for the first one.
Certainly was something that we predicted down around at Southern Loop there, John, and unfortunately our prediction was true. So, yeah, we'll let race control unpack that. We'll get back to some replays once the race settles in a little bit.
We've got cars going sideways everywhere here, and just jumped on with Blanchard. I might jump on with Christensen. There's one going on in front of Blanchard. This is behind. So, I'm just trying to pick all of the action here. There's cars going everywhere, of course. And I think Scott Gamble was the other one we mentioned. There's Scott Gamble trying to get back on, and he gets collected again there. So definitely going to be a hard one for him to unpack, Mark. Good bit of stuff going on everywhere.
Yeah, never any fun in race control when you've got a lot of things to unpack, especially on lap 1. It's a little bit frustrating, but the boys will get through it as quickly as possible. And yeah, we've got a race on our hands with James Scott being closely followed by Damien Johnson. So Damien's doing a great job.
Doing a very good job, to be honest. As you can see behind Scott there. We've got behind James Scott, Damien Johnstone, McNamara, Jones, Jordan Ross. So these boys all in a great little battle pack here. It's going to go a little bit further back. Zach McDonald is up 2 spots in 7th. That's a good start from Zach as he pulls up alongside Freeman here. Maybe about to get another spot up to 3. Great little overtake down the Gardner Straight. And a couple of other movers going on. Anthony Visma is up 3 spots. Brady Baldwin is up 10 spots. The big winner from that incident in the Southern Loop on lap 1.
Cam Jones running a little bit wide as well at Southern Loop there and drops a position. So Southern Loop claims another one. Just had a quick look at the replay on my end with Scotty Gamble. Looked like him and Thomas Freeman were very close together, but didn't look like there was actually any contact. Looked like a bit of neck code there, but I'll still let race control unpack that one.
Yeah, like I said, still a bit going on. Just want to have a... Cam Jones was off, but back on fairly quickly. Just Going to stick with this at the front here a little bit. Sean McNamara now is under a lot of pressure from Jordan Ross. An interesting livery being run by the Supremo of SSR.
Yeah, letting us know everyone who's in charge over there at SSR. And like I said, we're used to seeing Jordan run around in the Commodore, but yeah, he's got the special in the Mustang. Sorry, yeah, he's got the special livery on the Commodore tonight. And no Brenton Hobson to defend his second place in the championship tonight. So I'm sure Hobbo told us last week he may not get here this week.
He's doing relatively well.
Impressive run from Damien Johnson, but we saw last week he, as I mentioned earlier, he had a gear selection issue on the line and completely ruined his night. But he's off to a great start tonight. He's only half a second behind James Scott in P1, so doing an excellent job.
Yeah, definitely finding some form. And of course, lap 4 of 15 here, so this is ticking away very quickly, nearly a third of the way through. Of course, reverse grid for the next race. So Dylan Rudd, with that jump start penalty, probably set himself up to start on pole.
Was that a tactical jump start, John? That's what we need to ask.
Asking the question. Let us know what you think out there listening. There's Thomas Freeman here, working all over the back of the young Zach McDonald. A few marbles out there. Well, it's not the quick way to find it. Jacob O'Reilly going backwards. He's going off the track as well. We might jump on the replay and check that one out. Quick look.
He looked like he was a victim of Southern Loop as well, John.
Just jump on the old Supercheap Auto replay. Yep. Plenty of marbles when you get out wide there. And the camber just spits you out.
Yeah, you get out wide there and it's just like a magnet. It's very hard to bring it back. It just keeps sucking you out towards that sand trap. So you've really got to keep your wits about you there.
Of course, it's one of those spots where, you know, cold tyres after pit stops in the next race. You can get caught out as well. And lap 1, of course.
Yeah, so just thinking about race 2 already. Oh, a little bit of contact there from Dave Kirby, who's ended up sideways. He makes a call to race control.
Ooh, going down into MG there. And Supercheap Auto replay, a little bit of...
Yeah, sorry, before I got distracted there, yeah, thinking about race 2, after all the incidents on that opening lap, we're going to have some pretty fast guys starting closer to the front of the pack than what we thought. So, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a mixed up grid, I feel.
Yeah, it's going to be hard work. Let's just jump on with Brady Baldwin. He's in a great little battle here as well with Timmy Melford, just getting his way past as they head down into Miller. Melford on the inside has all the rights. So Baldwin lines himself tacked back up behind again. Of course, Craig Schultz getting onto the back of this battle as well.
Yeah, Timmy doing a good job, and Timmy probably has one of the widest Commodores out there. He's a very difficult man to pass. He really knows where to place his car to make it almost impossible to get past him at times. So Brady's going to have to work hard for this one.
And still got some other tight little battles. Zach McDonald, he's still got Thomas Freeman right up behind him. The young driver, 95 Sim Sports, he's definitely having a fair bit of a crack at it.
And of course, we've got the, you're talking about the young driver. What about the old driver, Tony Stone Street from the V8 Vet Series as well, doing a great job in P8. So, yeah, Troy's doing an exceptional job for only being in this series for not even a handful of races at the moment.
Ah, that's right. Troy just sitting behind the Freeman McDonald fight battle, so he'd be keeping a close eye on that, hoping they fight a bit harder and he can catch up and join the action. It's got a drive-through penalty to Thomas Freeman for lap 1, turn 2 contact with Gamble. That's Freeman's going to park and walk away, is he? Or has he made a mistake? Not sure what's going on here. He's blown a motor or something. Oh, he's got it going again. I'm not sure what happened there. As we continue back on with Jordan Ross, he's in the thick of the battle as well. He's got Sean McNamara behind him. The battle of the bosses. I do love that livery. Hopefully one of the Synergy boys will come in later and tell us what it's all about. Adam Briggs, if you're out there. As you can see, McNamara working very hard here to try and hang on to the back. And Connor Nixon having a slide off, but he's got going again. And we can see Cam Jones now starting to hang on to the back of this battle as well. So a few of these battle packs starting to form up. Might just check on some of our Super 2 boys. Robbie Bradbury, he's back in 18th at the moment. He's got Will Buchanan in front of him. And Christensen and Gray in front of him as well. So Gray's getting the upper hand in this first race. Ross the Boss at Solutions. Yes, Jordan's always got a solution. As you can see, Bradbury here tucked up behind Buchanan. Buchanan running the Harlan Motorsport on the number plate. The Big Bear entry. As go back a bit further, John O'Gallen. So we've got a flock of Pelicans here with Pavlik, Bradbury and Gallen, the three of them running together. Our Pacific Esports Racing team. And jumping back up the front, we've still got Jordan Ross hanging on to that P3. Noticed a gorilla on the side. Yeah, we did notice a gorilla. Bit of a silverback, I'd probably say, Adam. And there you can see that Cam Jones has now got into the thick of this battle as well, Mark.
Yeah, just having a quick look back through the field. Looks like Thomas Freeman's parked in the pits, so I'm not sure. Almost looked like he had a hardware failure when he went off the southern loop there, but yeah, he's back in the pits unfortunately. Yeah, but James Scott, he's got a 1.5 second lead over Damien Johnson, followed by Jordan Ross, Sean McNamara, Cam Jones, Zach McDonald. So the 9.5 Sim Sports boys have got the middle order of that top 10 sewn up at the moment. Then Troy Stone Street doing a great job in P7, Brady Baldwin, Tim Mulford doing an excellent job as well inside the top 10, as is Craig Schultz. So yeah, like I said, it's going to be a mixed up grid for race 2. We're going to have fast guys in the rear, the middle and the front.
It's going to be very interesting how this next race unfolds. Of course, reverse grid. It's a bit of a chuckle at Adam Briggs there, saying imagine the gorilla with a hammer. Jordan Ross IT Solutions. Don't need to imagine that, I can picture that one straight away. There we go, I've been corrected by Stephen Banks. It's actually a squadron of Pelicans. There's what's going on here. Not again. iRacing has completely gone on me. Still there, Mark?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, I've got a black screen on my the feed I'm looking at from you, but race is still running. Sam Craigson just runs a little bit deep down into Honda there, so he's back. Well, he's escaped back to the pit, so that'll be a DQ. I'm pretty sure from race one. Not sure what happened there, but yeah, he's just escaped back to the pit, so that's a big no-no.
Not allowed to escape back to the pits. Can't get that one happening, as I'm just still trying to get back in here. iRacing's not quite playing the game. It didn't time out properly.
So James Scott still out in front. He's got a 1.5, almost 2-second lead to Damien Johnson, followed by Jordan Ross, Sean McNamara, Cam Jones doing a good job in P5, Zach McDonald P6, Troy Stonestreet P7, Brady Baldwin P8, Tim Mulford P9, Craig Schultz rounds out your top 10. Then we've got Anthony Bisbee, Scott Gamble, Connor Nixon, Dylan Gray, Jacob O'Reilly, Will Buchanan, Peter Pavlovic, Jonathan Gallivan, Dave Kirby, Greg Sharp, Robbie Bradbury. So we've got a little bit of a mixed up mid-order there. We've seen quite a few incidents in this opening race, especially on lap 1, where a lot of people tumbled back down through the timing sheets, but more will be revealed in the next few laps. We're counting down very quickly. We're on lap 11 of 15, so just over 4 laps to complete for the leader, James Scott, who's just exiting down at MG now, and Damien Johnson doing the same.
And just about back in. What we could do here, Mark, is we could just quickly go to a 30-second ad just to give ourselves a chance to get sorted.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you
my
drive,
screen's doing weird stuff
we'll
now.
help you make
Haven't done
it
that.
super.
Bloody hell.
Because super is our middle name.
Go back to broadcasting. Should have a picture up, hopefully. There we go. Pictures are back. Back in the action now, so we can still see we've got James Scott leading this one with a great result here. He's already 3.14 seconds ahead of Damien Johnstone. Jordan Ross 3 seconds back down the road. Ross the boss has managed to get himself a little bit further ahead now, only 0.4 ahead, as he is basically chasing down Sean McNamara. Sorry, Sean McNamara's chasing him down. Cam Jones in 5th, Zach McDonald in 6th. Great drive from Zach, up 3 spots. Troy Stonestreet, the Super 2 driver, he's hanging on to that P7 spot. He's trying to make the most of it as he continues on. And it has been a very tough race for that McNamara, Cam Jones, Jordan Ross group. Scotty Gamble has fought his way back after that incident early on. And we can see Scotty here, he's got himself back into P10. As you can see, he's got Craig Schultz, who he's just passed. So that's another close little battle on track. Jacob O'Reilly, we saw him make a minor mistake a few minutes ago, and he's back into 13th. And you can see he's chasing down Anthony Visma, and he's got Nixon and Dylan Gray in close contention with him as well on lap 13. And it is absolutely frantic for these boys. Don't forget. Oh, no, that's Visma involved in something there, I think, with Jacob O'Reilly. So race control will be looking at that one. It's been a tough day for a few of these boys so far, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. We probably, I think we said there might be a little bit of desperation from drivers in this short sprint, and yeah, some of them haven't probably used their head well enough, but that's racing. Yeah, Briggsy said look, we had some ABC quick radio vibes there for the cricket. We probably bowled a bit of a wide there, Briggsy, but anyway, we're back. And yeah, we've only got 1.5 laps to go for the leader. So almost through this first race. It's gone flying by in the blink of an eye for us. So we're eagerly anticipating this full reverse grid race in race 2, and hopefully it's not all carnage.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what this race 2 comes out as. But we've still got this race to finish off. And of course, Cam Jones is in that battle. Going to jump back to Visma. Visma trying to get himself going again. He's caught himself back up to O'Reilly. These two involved in something down at Miller last time we came through. And we're heading there now again. So let's see what can happen. So Visma definitely tucked in behind here, looking up the inside, which will become the outside going into Miller. Side by side, hard onto the brakes. This allows O'Reilly to get back in. And Visma tucks in behind. Now tries to find a gap as they head down into Siberia. A great little battle with these boys. As continuing on. And just keeping an eye up the front still as we're basically on the penultimate lap. As we can jump back up, Sean McNamara, he still has Cameron Jones tucked up behind him. He's lost the back of Jordan Ross here. But Jones working very hard.
Yeah, interesting. I'm not sure if Damien Johnson has made a mistake somewhere, but he's really lost some ground to James Scott in front, and Jordan Ross has really closed down that gap to Damien Johnson. So Jordan hunting down his teammate in P2 at the moment.
Definitely job of it. So Damien's tyres might be gone. It could be a fuel situation. So time will tell with that one. Board here. Watching Cam Jones. This is the last lap of this heat. Johnson has come right back, hasn't he?
Yeah, he absolutely has. He had a good gap on these boys just a few laps ago, and it's closed down very quickly, but only got a handful of turns left to make now, so fingers crossed he can hang on for a great result in P2.
Yeah, definitely hard here to try and get this result that he needs. As you can see, I have got only one corner left to go. As we jump back on with James Scott, he comes across the line to take the finish. Gets the first one in the bag. Damien Johnstone, he's only just going to hang. No, he doesn't.
Like he's out of fuel.
Wow. That means that James Scott, Jordan Ross, Sean McNamara, Cam Jones, Damien Johnstone falls back to third. And basically just been informed by race control number 3 and 990 have a pit lane start for race 2 if they come back. Of course, 990 Dylan Rudd, number 3 Sam Christensen. We'll see what happens with those. As we have a quick look. Results up, not yet. So yeah, we had James Scott, Jordan Ross, Sean McNamara, Cam Jones, Damien Johnstone, Zach McDonald ended up in 6th, Troy Stone Street in 7th. Great drive from Troy. And then had Brady Baldwin up 13 spots in 8th, Timmy Mulford in 3rd, Troy up 3 in 9th, Scotty Gamble in top 10 in 10th. Had Schultz, Nixon, Gray, O'Reilly, and Feature's done it for me there. I've just lost it, so get the results as I can. Yeah, so that sort of rounds out our top 10 with Gray, O'Reilly, Visma, Buchanan, Gallen, and then 18th was Dave Kirby. So it's going to have a quick look at the grid for this second heat. Of course, Barella and James won't be there because they're race control, so that means Dylan Rudd, been told, has a pit lane start. And then Thomas Freeman will lead him out from Russell Gander, Munro, Blake Gallen, Paddy Shanahan, Chris Blanchard in 9th, WK&P, Peter Pavlich from Pacific Esports in 10th, Robbie Bradbury, Greg Sharp in 12th. Let's go over the screen. Then we've got Dave Kirby, John O'Gallen, 15th will be Will Buchanan, Anthony Vismer in 16th. And we start getting back into our pro boys. Jacob O'Reilly in 17. 18 is Dylan Gray. 19, Connor Nixon. 20 is Schultz. And then after that, we have Scott Gamble in 21st. Tim Mulford in 22nd. Brady Baldwin in 24th is Stone Street. We're getting way down the back of the grid now. Zach McDonald in 25th. Damien Johnstone 26th. Cam Jones from 95 Sim Sports in 27 alongside his boss Sean McNamara. Jordan Ross from Synergy Sim Racing alongside James Scott from Echo. So that is our grid, Mark.
Yeah, interesting reverse grid. Yeah, like there was some great results there. Who am I trying to think of? Scotty Gamble made a good comeback after being turned around there at Southern Loop. Also, Connor Nixon, excellent drive from towards the back of the grid to make his way up close to the top 10. So, yeah, a couple of standout performances there. We've got about a minute to go before race 2. I'm sure we're going to see a little bit of action in these opening laps from these drivers. So, yeah, hang on to your hats here, boys.
Definitely going to be hectic, I think. These guys start to get on the grid. And it is going to be a hard and fast, furious race coming up. And looking forward to seeing how these guys go. Of course, Freeman's going to lead them out. So Thomas, quite well known as being a fairly quick driver. So I'm intrigued to see how he goes. Jumped off as well, so head back to the next guy. You guys jumping in and out of their grid spots at the moment. And jump back onto Russell Gander. Still being on the grid, yep.
I guess reflecting on race 1 there, John, we could see why Damien Johnson had fallen back into the clutches of Jordan Ross, Sean McNamara, Cam Jones, because he was desperately trying to get to the start-finish line with some fuel in the tank.
We're away, lights are out. Russell Gander leads them away with Will Munro. Chris Blanchard, Bradbury, a few boys moving down backwards. Not sure what's happened to Connor Nixon down the back there. As you can see, a few of these quick boys trying to work their way through, but it's going to be Chris Blanchard leading them away through doing for the first time. Somebody off there out in the ether. Not sure who that was.
Damien Johnson.
Oh, it's a bummer. There's a little bit going on in the back as well with Will Buchanan as well, but they had another accident back there. These boys trying to work their way through. It's going to be a tough gig, but Blanchard's going to lead him down into Miller for the first time. From Gander, Bradbury, Kirby. A few other boys making a few moves as we come into that corner. Probably Bradbury here.
Cam Jones, Jordan Ross off at Southern Loop. Cam Jones has lost his boot, so must have been some rear contact there as well. So that's unfortunate for them boys.
Could go check auto replay. A little bit of a spin. That's Jordan Ross got spiralled out. Cam Jones, yeah, got collected by, not sure, one of the Ryco cars, I think. So a little bit of action back there.
Yeah, I think the Ryco car was the innocent party there. He just turned up when it was all unfolding in front of him.
Yeah, nowhere to go, unfortunately. As we're continuing on, you can sort of see that Blanchard's now got himself out to 2.5 from Bradbury. Kirby. He's up 10 spots already. He's battling away nicely.
James Scott already up 14 spots from the rear of the grid, so we're only on lap 2 of 25, and James has already made his way halfway through the field, so pretty good opening lap from James.
Will Munro here, a bit of traffic around him as O'Reilly goes through. Sharp looking for a way through here as well. Ray tucked up behind. Tough gig for these boys. We do these reverse grid races. A lot of quick drivers coming through. It's just checking where James Scott is. He's up 15 in 15th. So he's in the thick of it at the moment. Up the inside of Stone Street here, going into Siberia. There's someone spins a little bit there. Not sure who that was. Oh, great move from Scott. Of course, 25 laps this race. One compulsory pit stop required as well. And of course, we had Rudd start from pit. And a couple of others. I think Blake Gallen was another one in the pit lane. These boys having an absolute cracker of a start here. As we jump back up with Greg Sharp. Scott, Dylan Gray, up the inside of him. Caught out wide. Bismar's probably going to have a look up the inside of Sharp as well. As we get on to Gardner Straight now, and we're away. Side-by-side action going down into Doohan. But Gray's going to get the jump on Sharp. Sharp's not holding back. Bismar's going to look to the outside. Of course, 2 cars back, Will Munro, Dylan Rudd, Craig Schultz, James Scott. So our championship leader is coming through these guys. Let's jump back on James Scott as he gets a bit of a battle here. See coming into Miller. Got cars beside him, cars in front of him. Very tough driving this is. Self to the outside.
Dylan Rudd made pretty short work of a majority of the field after a pit lane start as well. He's already up inside the top 10 in 10th spot, so great driving from Dylan.
Of course, hooked up with James Scott now. Scott up 19 spots. 2 Ryco cars trying to work their way through. So we might jump on board with James Scott. Go around for a lap. Let everyone have a look how the champion driver does it. Back a Sharp here. The draft. James Scott moves himself up to 8th. A great little drive. Sharp tucked in behind, Rudd tucked in behind Sharp.
Just heard the call from race control with that opening lap, when the incident that involved about half a dozen cars has been called a racing incident. So we will not have any penalties from that incident at Southern Loop. Very impressive driving from James Scott and Dylan Rudd here. They've made very short work of that mid-pack, and both of them are sitting inside the top 10 now and edging their way towards Dylan Gray and Anthony Visma, who are in P7 and 6. So I expect probably James Scott to be well and truly on the back of these two boys by the end of this lap.
They're definitely working very hard. So looking for some more battles a bit further back. Sean McNamara hasn't managed to get his way through the traffic as quickly or as easily as as Scott. So he's battled up here. He's tucked up behind Mulford at the moment. You can see he's in a little bit of a train here with Munro at the front of it.
Yeah, definitely not easy when all them cars in front of you are picking up a draft.
They're definitely working very hard. As continuing on here. Just going to go back up the front, check on Dylan Gray. He's up 11 spots, sitting in 7th. Great drive from our Super 2 champion at the moment, or leader. As he has James Scott getting past him. He's sort of now caught in that Scott Rudd battle. But he's doing really well, being well composed. But it's Blanchard. He's still our leader after 6 laps. It's a great drive from Chris. He's 1.4 seconds in front of Kirby. Kirby's just hanging on to that toe, only just by a smidge. But Blanchard doing really well here. So
yeah, Blanchard's doing an outstanding job to hold that lead. He's been out there the whole race. Kirby, like you say, he's a bit over a second back. He'll still pick up a bit of a draft. Oh, Timmy Mulford off down there at Doohan by the look of it.
Quickly jump on Supercheap Auto replay. What's happened to Mulford? Oh, a little bit of a tap from one of the 9.5 boys. Not sure which one it is. But that is a lovely trip out mowing the lawns. Timmy, I'm sure race control may look at that. We'll leave it up to them. It's continuing on. Kirby, he does have Bradbury, O'Reilly, Nixon and James Scott about to latch onto the back of that group. He's only 2 seconds back, closing fast. And Visma, he is now putting pressure on Dylan Gray. A few people in race controls here at the moment, so see what comes of a few things here.
It looked like Cam Jones and Will Munro involved in a bit of an incident there down at Miller. So on the last time round, race control investigating as we speak.
Race control will be kept quite busy with that, I think. As Jacob O'Reilly, he's got Connor Nixon tucked up behind. Robbie Bradbury in front. Hey, Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie doing a great job again. We see this week in, week out. He just keeps his nose clean and races very hard. Doesn't get involved in too many problems. And yeah, he's doing an excellent job and doing well in the Super 2 series. He's had a outstanding season, I reckon.
Yeah, done very well. I'm pretty happy with the way he's gone here with his first season at East Coast, Robbie. Or Pacific Esports boys, all having a good crack at it. As much as check with Sean McNamara. He's side by side with Cam Jones now. Chris Jones missing the bonnet, or the boot, sorry. He's having a great drive. Going to put the pressure on somebody. Might as well make it the team boss.
James Scott, already up to P6 from the back of the grid. He is only about 3 seconds away from the race lead at the moment. So, yeah, no surprises to us or probably any of our viewers to see James working his way through this field so quickly. I'm a little bit surprised he's done it this quickly, but he's just doing what he does every week.
Yeah, as he rounds up. And catches up there, rounds up Robbie Bradbury. And next man up the road for him will be Connor Nixon. Just going to go back. Another little battle pack, of course, was Scott Gamble. He's caught up with Visma. Dylan Gray tucked in behind him. Big shout out to Pete Kelleher as well. Sure he'd be getting the pink machine all warmed up for round 1 of VETS on Thursday night. Scott Gamble comes down and through on the Viz. So does Dylan Gray here. Dylan Gray having a bit of a look around the outside of Visma. Dylan doing relatively well.
Yeah, Dylan just couldn't quite get on the power quick enough there with that outside manoeuvre, and Anthony was able to get a full head of steam a little bit quicker and stay in front there. But a great move down into MG that was from Scotty Gamble. Moved across late. The door was open, and then Visma had no option but to leave the door ajar for him.
And Kirby's going to go to the replay. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Kirby managed to sneak his way past for the lead, and it looks like O'Reilly cashed in on Blanchard being caught too wide. And of course, there's a bloke lurking in the back there as O'Reilly now takes the lead. Bloke lurking in the back, he called James Scott, making his way past Blanchard. So Blanchy did well. He hung on to it for 9 laps. I think he'd be pretty wrapped with that.
Yeah, did an outstanding job. Not sure if he made a mistake somewhere and got rounded up by a whole heap of cars very quickly. I would guess to say he did make an error somewhere. And
yeah, he got caught too wide into doing on the outside, which allowed the two of them through. He's done all right.
Fun.
No, never any fun when you get caught too wide there. He's done all right. James Scott, though, he's about to step into P3 here. That's his practice stuff, Peter. That's cheating. It's a great move from James Scott on Connor Nixon there. Nixon winds up going a bit wide. Manages to hang on to it in the kitty litter. Is an incident under investigation. James Scott now into P3, hunting down Kirby O'Reilly. He's going to jump back on Robbie Bradbury. It's like Scott Gamble's managed to get his way through there now. So Dylan Rudd, the next man up the road for him. And Connor Nixon, he's up 9 spots, sitting in 10th. He's battling away with Dylan Gray. And Greg Sharp tucked up the battle in this battle as well with Thomas Freeman. A couple of good little battle packs around the place, Mark.
Yeah, Connor Nixon with a bit of a lock-up going into Miller there, so allowed Dylan Gray to just sneak in front. He's got Greg Sharp all over the back of him, and Sharpie's got Thomas Freeman all over the back of him. So there's some pretty tight battle packs on lap 11. So we're edging towards the halfway mark of this first race. We do have a compulsory pit stop in this race, so I'm sure everybody will be hanging out as long as possible for a safety car, and if there's no safety car, we'll probably see most drivers pit around the same time.
I think Cam Jones pitted on lap 9, so he's the leader of our pitters as Robbie Bradbury goes in and Freeman goes in. And Zach Mack was in on 7, and then John O'Gallen and Craig Schultz went in on 10, and Will Munro on 7. So a few boys have started to knock their pit stops out of the way. Starting to see Jordan Ross in as well. So starting to see a few of the other boys now start to roll the dice on their stops. So I'm interested to see when James Scott comes in, Dylan Rudd and Gamble as well. They've fought very hard to get that track position. Done a cracking job with that. As lap 12 of 25, pretty much the halfway point now. This one ticking away very quickly as well.
So at the moment, John, we've got Robbie Bradbury in P17 is the first car of the pit stoppers. So at the moment, yeah, P17 is the car that has made the pit stop, and he's in front of Thomas Bream, Jordan Ross, Peter Pavlovic, Zach McDonald, Damien Johnson, Brady Baldwin. So like I said earlier, Robbie's had an outstanding first season with us, and he's just improving every week, and it's great to see him just turn up every week, mind his own business and get on with his race and get good results week in, week out.
So Kirby, Gamble, Visma, Dylan Gray and Sean McNamara all ducking into the pits. Blake Gallen involved in something. You might just go quickly on the Supercheap Auto replay. It looks like he may have been involved in something coming out of the pits here. That started and stopped. Just got to keep it running, son. Maybe something else going on. A little bit nervous rejoining. Seeing a few of these boys roll out. Jacob O'Reilly has James Scott tucked up behind him now. So Scotty about to go for the lead here.
Dave Kirby's exited the pits in P10, and he is now the first car of the stoppers. So yeah, P10, Dave Kirby, he's made his compulsory stop. We've got 12 and a half laps to go, so we're right on the halfway point. And yeah, James Scott, my goodness, he's already up to P2, up 28 spots.
Yeah, pretty remarkable. It's continuing on.
James Scott into the pit lane.
O'Reilly continues. Blanchard is in as well, so is Dylan Rudd. The first of our pitters at the moment was David Kirby. He pitted on lap 12. Just keep an eye on where Curbs rolls out here, as he's tucked up behind Russell Gander from Apex Racing. It looks like Gander's peeling off into the pits.
Looks like Dylan Rudd's been able to jump in front of James Scott there in that pit stop exchange, and Dave Kirby making his way up towards the rear of James Scott. So very, very tight there.
Yeah, very tight. See the two Ryco cars in the distance here, heading into the southern loop. Of course, Shanahan and Gander in the pits now as well. So Dylan Rudd is our on-track leader. Sorry, not our on-track, our pit stop leader. Of course, our on-track leader is still Jacob O'Reilly. As we can see, we've still got O'Reilly a bit further up the road. As around towards the last turn, he's going to go again. He's going to lead another lap. Connor Nixon coming with him. And same thing with Greg Sharp and Troy Stone Street.
Nixon and Sharp into the lane, so that only leaves Jacob O'Reilly and looks like, and Troy Stone Street comes in as well. So only one car left to pit at this stage.
It's been interesting to see how O'Reilly goes here with this overcut strategy. Of course, this is a track where the undercut usually pays off, but need to be careful not to burn your tyres. As we can see, something's happened to Blanchard here. He's had McNamara and Ross get past him. As start to see O'Reilly, Dylan Rudd's past everybody. They come out of the pits. Robbie Bradbury still sitting in fifth, tucked up behind Kirby. That's a fair effort for Brads. And Scotty Gamble up 15 spots in sixth. So there's a good little battle still going there. Expect Gamble to try and make a move here. So definitely a good drive from Gamble at the moment. Dylan Rudd, he has James Scott right up tucked behind him. So these two Ryco cars in the thick of a battle here. Of course, James Scott, our reigning champion. Jacob O'Reilly into the pits as well. So as we're about to start lap 16, 10 laps to go. O'Reilly, he's going to sneak himself out in the third as James Scott sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:27.714. Yeah, we'll just have a quick look at the pit strategies so that we can all see how it's all played out. So Rudd and Scott pitted on lap 13. O'Reilly went to lap 15. Kirby on 12. Bradbury on 11. And then, of course, Nixon went 14. 11 for Freeman, who started from pit lane like Rudd did. And then Gamble was 12, Ross 11. So McDonald's probably the one to watch out for with tyres, along with Damien Johnstone and Baldwin. So keep an eye on those guys, see if they fall away as we get towards the end. But definitely plenty to be played out still here at Phillip Island.
Absolutely. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Very tightly packed at the moment. So still a lot up for grabs for these boys, just inside and outside of this top 10.
And of course, points from race 1 combined with the points from race 2 gives them their total for the night. But definitely some good battle packs as we jump on. Gamble involved in something here with Freeman. Not sure what's happened. McNamara is caught up in this as well. Just going to jump on the replay. So what's happened here? A little bit of a brake check, or a little bit of an early braking maybe, not sure. I wouldn't say brake check, a little bit of an early braking from Freeman. Heading down in MG. McNamara caught up in that as well. I'm sure race control will be looking at that one. And of course, not the easiest spot to get everything sorted again. Let's jump back to live pictures. Just see if Freeman got going, which I think he did. Thomas ducking into the pit lane. As James Scott looks like he's got the lead. The two Ryco cars are 4 seconds ahead of Riley. He's got Dave Kirby slowly catching him. Robbie Bradbury sitting in 5th. That is a great drive from him. And probably doing his championship contention's really good because it's the Super 2 driver there has Anthony Visma between him and the championship leader, Dylan Gray. So keep an eye on that. Blanchard's not out of the question too. Blanchard pokes his nose in front of Gray. It's going to be on for those boys. As Bradbury's on the radio, so not sure what's happened there. Going to go to the replay.
Yeah, a little bit of a touch there from Connor Nixon by the look of it. So just as you finished talking about how good he was going, he just got a slight nudge and ended up in the weeds.
That's a bummer. The old commentator's curse again. We haven't had a good one like that for a while. Apologies to Mr. Bradbury. As he's now in the thick of it with Anthony Visma. As the Viz makes his way through. And Ray now tucked up behind him. So he's got to get his head back on, get back in his rhythm very quickly here does Robbie Bradbury. Otherwise he's going to get Gray in front of him.
Yeah, a bit of a shame there for Robbie, minding his own business, ended up in the weeds through no fault of his own. Race control, I'll unpack that. And he's been hit again. That's
just, yeah. Going to go to the replay on that one again. On the top. So this time it's Gray. Just clips him going to the outside there to get into Miller. That looks like a fairly big hit into the wall too. So hopefully he gets the car going again. Looks like he has. And Greg
like he's got a meatball flag too, John, so he's going to have to get into the pits.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, it looks like Sean McNamara's car is struggling now as well. Sharp's managed to get past him. Stone Street's tucked up behind as well. So McNamara's starting to fall away, back to 13th. Sorry, 13th. And just going to jump up to the front. James Scott, Dylan Rudd in close proximity together.
Yeah, it looks like McNamara's sporting the Commodore Coupe at the moment, so he's off to the pit lane to try and get some repairs.
And Troy Stone Street, he's having a good little battle here, hunting down Greg Sharp in front of him. He's less than a second, half a second behind Sharp. Another great drive from Troy. He's sitting in 13th at the moment. It's been a tough night for a few of our drivers tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. This reverse grid has made a very tough evening for some of the drivers, but not for all. Not for James Scott, not for Dylan Rudd. They did plenty of hard work earlier, but now they've been able to make their way into the lead. It's clear sailing for them boys with just over 6 laps to go. So a few of the other boys have struggled a little bit, but yeah, the two Ryco boys have really carved their way through the field and shown everybody how it's done.
And Connor Nixon there with a drive through from race control.
Yeah, shame for Connor, but that was for the contact with Robbie Bradbury, no doubt. Yeah, real shame for Connor, but even more of a shame for Robbie, because Robbie was the innocent party there, and it's really ruined Robbie's night when he was doing so well.
There you go, Steve Banks. Yep. Definitely sunk the hearts of all of the Pacific Esports racing fans out there. It's just jumping on here, Cam Jones. He's tucked up behind Mulford. He's still working his way through. A bit of a rough night for Cam as well. And starting to open up a bit, some of these packs. But James Scott is half a second ahead of his teammate Dylan Rudd. A good little close battle here. And definitely fighting very hard. We'll keep an eye on that one. Troy Stone Street, Greg Sharp are in a cracking battle here. So keep an eye on these two as well. Anything can happen here still. So Greg with his first outing at WK&P here at East Coast, putting on a very good showing. And Cam Jones, of course, is the other one. He's putting the pressure on Mulford as he looks like he's going to get the job done here. And Mulford just cedes to Jones. So Jones gets himself up into 14th. And a couple of other tight little battle packs. Zach McDonald, he's got Damien Johnstone less than a second behind him. A little bit of lap traffic and Blake Gallen in front of him. And of course, Greg Sharp, he's a second and a half back from this group. So that group's starting to bunch back up again. Keep a little bit of an eye on that. Connor Nixon's only half a second ahead of Jordan Ross. So of course, Jordan P2 in race 1. Not sure that's going to roll out for the championship tonight. With James Scott's a laydown Mazaire. 2 first positions, I think, at this stage, barring any commentator curses. As Nixon's in for his drive-through, I think. Let's jump back on with James Scott. Looks like Rudd's caught him a little bit here, Mark.
Yeah, just scrolling through the field there, John. Yeah, Rudd's starting to come back a little bit. I'm not sure He was about a tenth quicker on that last lap. Jordan Ross having a pretty rock solid night as well. He was on the podium in race 1 and he is just outside the biz in P5 at the moment with 3.5 laps to go. So Jordan's still probably itching to get up to that podium position, but I think he'll have enough points to be on the podium for the end of the night as well.
Yes, don't forget, Rudd started from rear of grid in this race. Sorry, started on pit lane in this race. He's done really well. Jacob O'Reilly in his first outing at East Coast as well. He's up 14 spots in third.
Yeah, Jacob's had a really good race. Don't know much about Jacob, but he's with the Vermeulen Motorsport boys, and yeah, he's had an exceptional night. So looks like he's got plenty of pace in the car as well. So yeah, hopefully we see Jacob as a regular competitor with us.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Of course, only one more round to go this season. We head off to Barber in the States. One of the more interesting circuits to race around, with a lot of undulations and a lot of interesting corners, as well as some interesting artwork around the circuit. It'll be a fitting place, I think, for these boys to have a good old battle to finish this season off.
Yep, one more race to go. I'm sure the boys will be glad to wind the season down finally and have a little bit of break and then get back after Christmas and do it all again.
Yeah, the short season, 7 rounds, 2 tickets available, 2 golden tickets for the Pro Series for our leading 2 drivers if they're not already in the series. So very interesting to see how the guys go with that one, and definitely going to be a hotly contested 7-round series. Looking forward to seeing how that rolls out.
Absolutely. Great initiative, John, to have them 2 golden tickets. Give a lot of incentive for boys to join up and get involved in some great racing with the opportunity to go to the Pro Series.
Yeah, and then the other thing we've got too next season is we're introducing a 3rd class. So we've got our Pros, our Super 2s, and then we're going to have our Super Vets. So we're opening the door up to the over 40s to come in, participate in the series, of course, which is no aids and open sets. So I know the boys a couple of the boys over in Vets Land have been calling for that for a long time. Well, here's their chance to have a crack at it, show us what they can do. So looking forward to seeing how that one goes as well, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we probably will see a few of the boys transition across here for next season. No reason why they shouldn't if they've got the opportunity to get out racing on a Tuesday night. It's always pretty tough and intense racing here, and a good way to get yourself sharp for the vets racing as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's the other thing. Not sure if I mentioned that next season those 7 rounds will be running the same tracks as officials and the same tracks as the vets. So the only thing we'll probably be doing will be different race formats in terms of race lengths and possibly some sprints. 100% certain on where Ashes with that one yet, but that'll get finalised very shortly. And I believe entry forms is pretty much open, I think, for, or about to be opened up for next season. So definitely keep an eye out for that as we start rounding up the end of this one.
Yeah, we're on the last lap, John. Sorry, and Dylan Road has really hung on to the back of James Scott here, and looks like he's actually threatening to go past at some point.
He's definitely working all over the back of him. Just jump on here, pick with these 2, and I can't believe this. He's very hot in my office tonight, and I think it's done it again, Mark. So you might have to go the old ABC cricket style for the last lap.
All right, so that's a no ball from John. He's going to have to bowl that one again. But James Scott heading down into Siberia. He's got Dylan Rudd all over the back of him. James Scott is up 29 spots. Dylan Rudd had a pit lane start, and he's probably up around 30 spots, I imagine. So exceptional drive from the two boys from the Ryco team. Dave Kirby's done well to hang on to P3. On the last lap, he's got Jordan Ross about a second behind, or just under a second. So Dave will be working extremely hard to bring that home for the Fishy Motorsport boys. Dave's always a great racer, great competitor, knows how to build a championship when he gets here every week and in the vet. So Dave's done a good job. Jordan Ross, outstanding night as well. But here we come. We're heading down onto Gardner Straight for the final time with James Scott and Dylan Rudd. Finishing 1-2 for the Ryco boys. That's super impressive from them guys, considering where they started. Incredible driving. Dave Kirby about to bring it home for P3. He's got Jordan Ross. Oh, there was nothing in that at the end. It was under a car length there. So great drive from Dave. Jay Ross had a great night as well. He was on the podium in race 1. Just outside the podium race 2, Anthony Visma, outstanding result for P5. Dylan Gray, Chris Blanchard in P8, Zach McDonald, Blanchard P7, Zach McDonald P8, Greg Sharp P9, Troy Stone Street. Great effort from the vets racer there to finish just inside the top 10 in 10th place. So, yeah, some outstanding results there. Damien Johnson was up 15 spots as well. Zach McDonald was up 17. Yeah, so plenty of good drives out there tonight.
Yeah, that sounds pretty magnificent drives there, Mark. These few boys, it'll be quite happy with how they've ended up performing with that, and be interesting to see how we wind up with a few of these lads. We combine all the totals together and get the scores up. But I'd have to say that it's been a good drive from most of these boys, and definitely a few guys will be having a sigh of relief that it's over. I think it's been quite a warm night out and about for a few of these lads, as we said.
For the podium.
So great to see though. Dave Kirby getting home in second. Getting home in third there. So I'm assuming I'm still right on that one. Yeah.
Yep, Dave did finish in P3. Heart goes out to Robbie Bradbury. I feel like he deserved a lot more out of that race than what he ended up with in P21. He was turned around twice in the matter of, in under a lap. So that was a real shame for Robbie. He definitely deserved a bit more out of that race than what he ended up with.
Yeah, definitely a little bit unlucky. Yeah, so just looking forward to seeing how we have a chat with a few of these boys in a minute. So looking forward to see who drops in. And sorry again, I said another hot night. It's 30 degrees in here at the moment still. Got to work out how I'm going to cool this a bit better. I think it was interesting because I had some racing and practice last night and had no issues. So not sure what's going on. But anyway, try and get to the bottom of it. So we'll just wait and see if any of these boys jump in to have a chat with us, Mark. And we've already got 3 of them in the green room. We'll bring them all in and say good day. So start off by talking to Mr. Kirby. How are you, Dave?
Hey, John. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Congrats on your P3.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So new rig definitely working for you?
Yeah, it's still a bit to sort out, but that was the first race on it tonight. So we'll learn a little bit of what needs to be done from here on in. But look, happy to get that. I think got a bit of lucky there with Jacob having to pull into the pits for some reason. But yeah, I'll definitely take a podium first night out.
Yeah, that's good. And of course, the man who'll be in P2 for the second race, of course, was Dylan Rudd. That was a great drive, Dylan. You made James work for it.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit of fun in that second race. Coming from the pit lane was definitely made for some excitement.
Yeah, you seem to be finding a bit of pace in the new team now.
Yeah, it's been good working with James, trying to just look at what he's doing and try and implement that into my driving, which I think seems to be working.
It's good. It is starting to look like it is working from our end anyway, from what we've been watching. Let's leave it on that screen. And of course, James, you were P1 again, mate. That was a bit of a tough drive coming back through the pack this time.
Yeah, it was. I got a really good start around the outside of a couple of cars at the first corner. And then, yeah, another couple of cars at turn 2. And then I was up, I don't know, probably 10 spots already before the start. And then I don't really know what happened at the exit of MG there. It's just turned into a bit of a car park and lost probably half of those spots that I made up. So, it put me on the back foot. But, yeah, car was pretty good. So, able to come back through.
That's good. Anyone you want to give a shout out to for the Ryco lads, James?
Yep, obviously all the guys at Ryco. Yeah, great setup shop. Head over there, and they'll be able to sort you out for any of the setups you need. There's a few series that they do, so really good pro drivers over there. So head over there and get yourself a setup. And obviously all the guys in the team, and yeah, Dylan as well. Also, you guys for the broadcast and the guys in race control. You probably won't get too much sleep tonight after there's a fair few incidents. So.
We'll keep them busy.
I'll just put you on the spot here, James. If anybody's looking for them Ryco setups, where can they find them, mate?
Yep, just head over to rycoperformance.com and they'll just be able to sign up there and go for it.
All right, thanks, mate.
Yep, definitely some good setups by the looks of it. And Dave, Kirby, anyone you want to give a shout out to, mate?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, well done to Dylan and James on the podium tonight. Great drive from the back. Obviously, all the boys at Fisher Motorsports, West End Motor Group, Infinity Designs, DC Shades, Battery Warehouse, Early Beach, Precision Sim Training, and CLS Constructions, North Queensland.
Too easy, mate. And great to have you on the podium as well. And, of course, just thinking ahead to next week, guys, we're off to the one and only great circuit of Barber Motorsport Park. Any thoughts on that one?
Yeah. I can't remember the last time I drove there, but no, it's not too bad. A bit of a different track, but yeah, should be good.
Of course, final track of the season, so be looking forward to seeing how you boys all go there. And it'll be a bit of fun, I think. I'm looking forward to it.
They can stick me on an oval at the moment. I'm just happy to be back in the rig.
Yeah, I think everybody probably looking forward to getting Barber over and done with, and everybody having a little break over Christmas and them coming back in 2024 for some more epic racing.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing that epic racing next season. As we talked about before, we've got the golden tickets for the Pro Series and 7 rounds coming up after Christmas, so looking forward to that. And on that note, we might wrap up the broadcast with a huge thank you to the drivers, a huge thank you to everyone out there who's been watching, and of course a huge thank you to Race Control, but the biggest thank yous of all go to you, Mark, for jumping in and, to steal Briggsy's words, doing a fair bit of ABC cricket commentary.
Yeah, all good, John. Always good to be here. There was some great racing tonight, and yeah, get that cooling system sorted out for your PC, and we'll see you at Barber next week.
Sounds good. We'll see you all then. Not all.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well,